Okay, we are back with our Value Town deck, aka we were promised jetpacks. On that note, it's worth mentioning that the Forge Guardian Alpha is less good in this deck than it had originally looked like it might have been. The reason for that is, I keep joking about the jetpacks, although that's not as important. The reason that I was really thinking about is that I took it because of the Scrapforge Titan, thinking, you know, if we can survive until the late game, we're golden, and it's going to have better stats than almost anything, and it can trade with almost anything to help us get to the late game. However, because our deck got so many of these value creatures that just win in a different way, the Forge Guardian is no longer as synergistic with that plan. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and find a play so that my opponent does not have to keep waiting on us. Vault Technician is fine here, but I think that Grove Huntress is slightly better. So I will play 2 Grove Huntresses and buff themselves. Again, I don't like my opponent playing a spell that only drew. If we were a very aggressive deck, we would be able to punish it. We're not super aggressive, although I feel like this deck can come out swinging occasionally, just with all these creatures putting on pressure. We will see if we can play a little extra aggressively just because of how our opponent is playing. Grove Huntress can definitely affect the trade with the Savant. That's nice. Ravager's 5, 9, 17. I feel like this is just gonna have a bigger effect on the game. So I'll go ahead and play Sower. I should have played the Sower itself over here and the Seedling in the middle in case I opt to replace it with Pilot. Hopefully I don't get punished for that. Okay, with no Sower, that may not matter. On an unrelated note, the video game EDF, I think it's 2025 now, recently came out on Xbox and PS3. That game is a ton of fun. I've always been a huge fan of the series. If you have not played it, you should check it out sometime. So we could Enrage to affect the trade, but I'm going to continue to just play good value creatures. Matriarch, going to do battle. We do not get trampled on because we are the aggressor. And we will sow here. We'll take some damage from the Infiltrator, but we will pick up a pretty clean trade. So that's nice. Alright, so we are playing kind of as the aggressor just by keeping all of our lanes as full as we can. So that's certainly nice. Looks like we will have enough pressure off to be able to Technosmith something, which is also good. Alright, there's an Avatar that's not great for us, but the War Charger should be able to trade, to pick it off, actually. So that's nice. Nexus Pilot could also, though. Yeah, I think I'll keep the Pilot just because it is likely to give me a better creature around, so my opponent will have to block it with something better. The Matriarch is going to pick up a value trade off the Alpha, leaving around a 1-1, which is fine. Definitely liking how many creatures we're able to keep in the board right now. Had I known how this draft would go, I would have tried to take the strength in numbers a little more highly, just because we have a lot of things that make seedlings, so we do actually flood lanes better than I would have expected. Okay, I could Enrage and Force Field just to make that trade. I don't care about that much, though. The Pilot with the Sower is going to be enough to be able to trade. So I will Sower here. Replacing a Seedling. Probably best to get a Bear Rider out. I never know when to level Enrages, which is part of why I don't play them as much, just because I'm it feels like it's not worth it as often as just leveling something up. Low-level alphas don't matter, but I want to be able to take this lane back. So I'm leveling up my Bear Rider so that it's better, while also trying to take the lane. All right. Steel's Shaper Savant can be a pain. We did not end up getting the Oxidon Spitter to get rid of armor, unfortunately. Okay, so we need to do 8 damage to the Tower Vanguard. We can certainly do that. We'd also like to do 8 damage to the Savant, though. I'm going to play the Adept first. I want to play the Adept first so that I can see if there's a better card. Okay, yeah, Technospith is probably my best option here. I actually will level the Enrage. I think as we get to the later game, I like having that as a combat trick. My opponent is definitely taking some of the board back, although getting a very good hand of level 2s can certainly help us here. I'd like to get that War Charger leveled up, although I'm not entirely sure it's a huge priority over the Sower. I think I will take it over the Sower, though. Movement is definitely less good in this deck, though, just because we have so many things that generate saplings. Okay, General's not the worst. Okay, so we don't really want to Huntress in front of the Savant. Actually, Huntress in front of General is probably just fine. Especially since it can buff itself so it can get the trade right away. It would have been nice to buff the War Charger just because being able to move with increased stats is very nice. Almost certainly too late for the Titan. I think we just want to Grove Huntress and Matrix Warden something. We could grow the War Charger off both of those to push through potentially a lot of damage. It depends on what our opponent's doing. Our opponent is seemed to force Aloyan very hard, especially given the Avatar and such. A lot of people seem to be doing that. I know Aloyan is often said to be the best faction for draft, but I'm not sure it's worth forcing anything that aggressively. Okay, so we can pick off the trade, so the Nexus Pilot will shrink. So that's not really something we need to worry about. I will not move anything in front of it just until after combat, just because it will be shrunk. The Grove Huntress can pick it off if I use it to buff itself, which means the Matrix Warden isn't necessarily doing anything. So I'm going to use that to buff the War Charger. Get in 12 damage. Then, yeah, then I think I will definitely play Huntress buffing itself to take care of the pilot. Alright, that's Titan really wants to be played, but we continue to have better things. Definitely expecting a jetpack eventually out of this deck my opponent has, with these alphas being leveled so aggressively. The 2026 is a very good creature, especially, you know, with the increased power from the jetpack, but it's not something I'm that afraid of. Okay, that Avatar is very good. So my opponent does have a deck where Avatar is very good. Still feels fine, though. And we are getting in 13 damage here, so that's nice. We've got this 16 that we can throw in front of something. Unfortunately, we cannot kill both. Wait, we need 11, yeah. We cannot kill both of these because we need 2 creatures with 11 power, which we just don't have. I think I'm gonna try to get my mouse to work. Alright, throw Bear Riders there. Throw Huntress here, keep some damage off. Probably buff the Matrix Warden just so that we've got a little more damage coming in. good Grove Huntress, although the rest of my hand is not great. For what it's worth, I don't mind like poisoning Alpha or something just so that it will gradually shrink. Alright, definitely a good creature. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Soothing Radiance doesn't bother me too much. It keeps the creature alive, but unfortunately the Venom Fang is not quite enough to eat that. Okay, so +5/+5. So we can throw pretty much anything in front of here. And pick off the Avatar by buffing it with like the Grove Huntress or whatever. I hate to say it, but I should probably try and kill that Savant. Okay, so the Matrix Warden buffing itself will not be enough. So I will buff the other Matrix Warden, continue to try to get it in damage. We do have enough board presence that feels reasonable. I want to take care of that Avatar and the Savant. Otherwise, you know, with that, the General is very, very good. However, it's certainly better than us taking 35 damage a turn. Yeah. Okay, this is what we like to see. So we've got some very good creatures at level 3. One of those will be able to just neatly pick off the General. My opponent is going to be able to eat that Matrix Warden now, but it did its purpose. It got in a bunch of value damage. Okay, what are this thing's base stats going to be? 11, 10. I think I'll put the War Charger here. Technosmith in front of... Actually, I'm not sure I care about the Infiltrator as much as I care about the Vanguard. So I'll throw that there. Level the Matriarch because its stats are better at level 3. Okay, so the Infiltrator is shrunk for the moment. Bright Tusk Sower is very nice. Two of them is a bit awkward because we likely won't have the lanes to put all of their seedlings, but that's still fine. Even an 8/9 isn't the worst thing I could play at this level. Okay, I don't mind that Matrix Warden, although we'll be pumping the Infiltrator. Oh no. Okay, so my opponent has another pump to get rid of my Technosmith. That seems okay. Oh, no, my opponent's gonna Jetpack. Okay. Okay, yeah, there is a trade there. I was going to say, if my opponent's moving into the other lane, that's super aggressive, and I don't like the play. However, this is fine. I did that wrong. I should have moved the War Charger first so I could drop the 3/3 in there, because I am going to go ahead and move my War Charger to get the extra damage in. I'll do combat. I will Sower here because it's my best creature. Not going to use its ability. Just going to leave it there. Alright, Bear Rider is not amazing, but it can trade well. So my opponent does have the Jetpack plan, like we kind of assumed. That only seemed reasonable. But our opponent doesn't really have the resources to commit to play a defender and pump it. Much less, you know, move it to a lane where it can actually attack. So as long as we are able to keep applying pressure, our opponent cannot use the Forge Guardian Alpha plan. Our opponent can play Forge Guardian Alphas to block, which is fine, but that's not enough. Alright, so we get to keep our War Charger alive. I feel like us keeping the War Charger... Oh, right. Vanguard pumps when it's got armor. I was forgetting that. So we just want to play the biggest bodies we can. We're going to get through 8 damage. We don't lose our Sower here. So the question is, do we play Bear Rider in his own lane just to create a very large threat that must be answered? Or do we take care of the Vanguard while we can? I think I'm actually going to take care of the Vanguard. The more aggressive play is definitely the other. But I think that at player rank 4, our opponent's not going to have that much trouble getting a 10-power creature to play in front. So I want to make sure that we get our value out of the Bear Rider. So that's definitely my reasoning there. Matrix Warden makes it very, very hard for my opponent. This is going to be able to give +5 attack. So the Sower must be blocked, which is non-obvious. This Sower is obviously going to be blocked because it's lethal on its own. On this turn, it's not quite enough. Actually, yes, it is. With the Enrage, the Vault Technician also has to be blocked, otherwise my opponent loses. So my opponent must block 3 different creatures, which is difficult in a exclusively a Loyan deck. Nice stretch. Gotta love the Elephant Druid. Wolves riding bears are pretty sweet. Hard to argue with that. I wonder if in set 2 there's going to be a bear riding a wolf. Madness. Madness, I tell you. Let's see what these are. Oh, those are lanes. Alright, I'm just being silly. Waiting for my opponent to pass the turn. Or, you know, play things and pass the turn. Or concede. In a minute, I'm actually going to pause just in case my opponent's going to let the time run out or something, which is... Okay, I was going to say, I don't normally see Solforge players playing that kind of grumpy player tactic, so I didn't think it was going to happen, but there's a first time for everything. Okay, like I said, our opponent had to block everything, but our opponent did not know that and probably could not have done it. So we're just going to go ahead and get lethal. Thank you, my opponent, for the game, and we'll be back in a moment with the next game. Do we get some silver? Oh, we get an event ticket. Way better. Awesome.